All right, have and have not fans. This is going to be I guess you could say a makeup for the two live streams I did. The first one, well, both live streams have to do with the whole "Does Hannah love Candace" topic. Now, for the second live stream, I apologize. There are a lot of technical issues there. It seems the problem is when it comes to live stream, I'd say about 8 times out of 10, the audience cannot hear the people who are calling in to actually talk with me. Now, I don't know if that's something I can adjust on my end. I tried looking it up, but it seems like it has to do with the other person's phone or, their volume and whatnot. So we'll definitely work on that in the future. But just for future reference, if you ever want to call in and speak with me, try to make sure you're in an area where there isn't a lot of background noise or other people around so that you're able to come through clearly, because for the most part, if I'm not able to hear you, neither will the listener. So that makes the discussions a bit, even though me and the person I'm talking to are able to talk and understand each other, for the most part, the audience who tunes in wouldn't be able to do the same. So just for future reference, when people want to talk with me via live stream, what we can do, we can try to contact each other ahead of time, do like a test run to make sure the volume is up and everything, and then we can go on with the conversation. But for future reference, we'll try to make that better for you. But just to talk about my initial thoughts, because I felt bad for people who try to sit down from like 20-30 minute videos but don't really get a lot of content. Just to kind of sum everything up, Hannah does love Candace. She just doesn't love the things she does. It's pretty much like the Christian motif, hate the sin, not the sinner. It's just that Candace really hasn't shown that much affection towards Hannah, honestly, for good reason, based off how she was raised by Hanna, how one of the men Hanna was seeing actually raped her as a child. And we did see small nods of Candace showing Hanna some love. First being the fact that she bought the car that Erica set up for Benny to buy to give to Hanna, because Candace knew that if I gave her the car myself, she wouldn't take it, because she would just say I got the money through ill-gotten means, which she did. But she was just sick of Hanna having to walk and take the bus everywhere. So Candace does care about Hanna, but her disdain of Hanna just takes precedence over everything else. So that's why I think of that. And I feel like Hanna does deserve some slack, because she actually showed the biggest move of affection towards Candace rather than vice versa. It was the scene after Amanda died. She went to the Serena Hotel with Benny, talked about how Candace got raped, how when Candace was in like grade school, she was taken by the principal or whatever, and the police talked about her about the situation, and she was wondering the whole time where Hanna was. But Hanna said that, hey, the cops wouldn't let me back there. I was there trying to get to you the entire time. Then, of course, as she grew older, she grew more resentful, hanging with the wrong crowd, doing this and that. And I mean, I really don't know what else to say. Hanna does love Candace, but Candace is just, I don't know how to say it, just, without being overly dramatic or mean, but a lot of people have said those words that I really don't want to say right now. I just feel like when it comes to Hanna and Candace, those two, is there a chance they'll be able to get together as mother and daughter? Yes. I feel like maybe by the end of the series, those two will come together as a family. But I hope it doesn't come at the expense of another life. Like, for example, the death of Quincy Jr. just widened the gap between those two even further than it already was. And Candace blaming Hanna for it was just ridiculous, like saying you had him killed to get back at me. And I'm like, what purpose would that serve? Like, why would Hanna want to get to Candace through killing her son, let alone get back at Candace? Yeah, I mean, Hanna did blame or pointed the finger at Candace first when her house was destroyed by Quincy, saying that Candace was the one that did it so she wouldn't get custody of Quincy Jr. But at the same time, it wasn't to the extreme of, hey, you know what? You killed my son just to get back at me, just to spite me. And I'm just like, man, wishing she was dead and everything. Nah, that's just too much. What I don't want to see is someone, I mean, I feel like Benny is the last thing those two have that they both care about. And if Benny goes, they'll only have each other. And as Benny said in season 2, after he got out of the hospital from the coma, he said, look, the reason I have both y'all here talking is because what if I died in that hospital then you two would have just been at each other's throats for the rest of your lives. So I would hate to see Benny go just to bring those two closer together. So is there a chance they can redeem themselves and come closer together? Yes, but it's going to take a whole lot of super glue to fix the cracks in that foundation. So with that being said, I feel like there's nothing else to say. Hanna does love Candace. Candace, in her own twisted way, does have some form of affection towards Hanna. But when you really think about it, Candace has never had a true example of love in her life. And I guess the bigger thing is, I'm not saying she's incapable of it, but I don't really think she knows what love is and how to fully express herself in a healthy manner. When you look at all of her previous relationships, blackmails and whatnot, it makes sense that Candace really doesn't have a true sense of what love is. I feel like Oscar might have been her first, I guess you could say, somebody that was into her more than just her body and whatnot, wanted to get to know her, have a connection, a relationship and whatnot, but then that turned out to be a facade. So honestly, I feel like with all the walls she's built up to be emotionless to other people, Candace really doesn't know how to love. So she can possibly learn. Maybe I feel like the first step is coming to know and understand God's love for her, and then she'll be able to express that love to Hanna. So with that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll talk to you soon.